How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about MMAT metamaterials. We ended up having a fairly choppy day inside of the market, but it ended up finishing green. Also respected the levels like we talked about in the technicals in the last video. I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you are a shareholder or you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is the technical analysis, taking a look at the overall price action. We talked about how key it was for metamaterials to hold up that $5 level, and we're seeing a continuation of that. And what we want to do is talk about further, if it does continue to decide to do this, where it could potentially actually lead up to, and also looking at what levels for in regards to a pullback. And then we're going to go on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership and as well as the short interest information. We already know if there's a lot of shorts vested inside of this play, it's going to have an impact on the overall price action, and I want to make sure you're prepared. And then we're going to take a look at the order flow distribution, where institutions loading up on shares today. We've seen they've been loading up on shares in the past. We want to see, is there a continuation of that? And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more key details. So let's get to it right now. So we're going to be doing a technical analysis for MMAT metamaterials. Let's see how it performed on the day. So ended up closing at $5.34, being up 2.10%. On the low, it tested $5.06, and then on the high, testing $5.44. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 11.362 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days being at 33.897 million shares. Now, when we take a look at our 1-year daily chart, you can see from the RSI down below, we're continuing to be at 63.55. So yes, we are in the overbought territory, but that's of no surprise due to the fact we have been seeing some momentum. And also overall on a day, even though we had not even as close to the average volume that we usually get, we still ended up finishing green, which means that there's many that are holding their positions. And we also see that there is some buying going on as well. Now, when we take a look at our moving averages here, you can see that we are above all of them, but of course this is of no surprise because like we talked about inside the prior videos, we are seeing momentum. Now, as far as what we were talking about as well before, we wanted to see metamaterials hold up the $5 level, and it is doing exactly that. So as long as it continues to actually build support and consolidate within this range, then of course we can look forward to seeing that move to $6, and I've been talking about that for quite some time. So if we can get to this $6 level, then of course I want to look forward to seeing some momentum getting here to $6.37, and then essentially making that move going to $6.98 before we push making that move to $7. If we do decide to pull back, because you know it is going to be a volatile week, then of course the level that I want to see us actually hold up will be right here around this $4.88. And if it decides to pull back even further, then I'm looking for some strength here right around the 460s. So for the most part, MMAT is definitely doing well right now at the moment. And hey, we just got to be patient and look forward to seeing that move to 6, and then making sure we're also holding up this $5 level as well. So we're on Fintel. We're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information for metamaterials. So as we scroll down on the page, green rows indicate new positions while red rows indicate closed positions. So we could see here from the recent filings we have for the 13th, which is today, we have Bank of America Corp that purchased, well, 1,245 shares. And we could see from the 7th, we had Newbridge Financial Services that went in with just 737. And then on the 3rd, we also have a position of 10,941. And of course, Vanguard, which we covered already on August 30th with a position of just under 19,000 shares. Again, these are just the filing dates. These are not the exact dates they actually took that position, all right? So now when we take a look at the short interest information, scrolling down on the page, you can see the short shares availability is at 65,000, updated 26 minutes ago, and the short borrow fee rate is at 11.04. Now, when we take a look at the history of the short volume ratio, we can see for the close of the 8th, it is at 36.59. The close of the 9th, it was at 23.01, and then the close last week, Friday, it was at 22.00. So we could see it has been on a downtrend like we talked about in the prior video, but it'll be very interesting to see what the numbers will be later on in the evening. If by chance and you were able to check out this portion of the video, let me know inside the comment section. A lot of us would like to know about that, but for the most part, I'm loving the price action we're seeing from metamaterials overall in general, especially since we've been holding up that $5 level. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for metamaterials. So we can see on the inflow side, it was 12,227, and then on the outflow side, it was 14,139. So we ended up having an outflow day. Now, when we take a look at the large scale orders on the inflow side, you see we had 0. On the medium, we had 7,276. And then on the small, we had 4,951. When we take a look at the outflow side on the large, we had 334. And then on the medium, we had 7,191. And then on the small, we had 6,614. And when we take a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days for today, ended up being an outflow being at 333.91, which we noticed when we took a look at the large scale orders on the outflow side. But one thing to keep in mind here, on the small, as far as for the small scale orders, we ended up having a surplus on the outflow side. So what this means, as far as retail investors and traders, there was a lot of selling on their end compared to what we had for the inflows. And as far as for the medium is concerned, you can see that we had a surplus on the inflow side. So easily we could see a lot of retail investors and traders, many are saying, hey, hold your shares. They are not doing that, and the stats show that. And if you are inside of this play, this is why you have to make sure you're doing what is best for you. But the great thing about it is there are many who are still holding their shares and they are adding to their positions, because we were able to actually end up finishing green on the day. And even though we didn't have the normal amount of volume that we usually have, which is definitely great to see. So now let's jump into the final thoughts and we'll go over some more details. So for my final thoughts for metamaterials, and like I was saying previously before, it was great to see that it showed a lot of strength overall on the day. Many stocks pulled back, but Meta was able to hold its own. When we took a look at the order flow distribution, we can see there was a good amount of selling on the retail side. And as far as even for the large scale orders, we also had institutions who were selling out of their positions. But one thing to understand is we didn't have the normal amount of volume that we usually have. It was well below the average, but that's also good because we ended up having a green day, and this tells us there are many who are holding their shares. And also on top of that, when I took a look at the turnover ratio, it was right around 4%. So that's definitely a good look for metamaterials, and it's part of the reasons why we ended up being green on the day. A lot of people have high conviction. A lot of people have done their homework, so that is great for anyone who is a current shareholder. As far as for how this week progresses, I want to see metamaterials hold up that $5 level. That would be the most preferable situation here. But when we went on Fintel, what we can clearly see as far as for the short volume ratio, short interest has been going down. So it'll be very interesting to see what the numbers will be later on in the evening. If you have the chance, let everyone know down inside the comment section. I know they're going to want to see that because at the time when I did the recording, the information was not available. All of that said, this is why I tell you guys, as far as how the conditions have been and how choppy the markets are, expect some more volatility. So with everything that's going to be going down for this week, especially for the CPI numbers that are going to be coming out tomorrow, I'm going to want to see Meta continue to show some strength. And if it still continues to hold that $5 level, like I was saying inside of the technicals, you can look forward to seeing that move to 6 and also potentially 7, especially if we have that buying pressure coming into the stock and many traders coming into the play, showing some interest, bringing the volume up and so on. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we'll be talking real soon.